Y'all, this might just be the end of an era. The name Drake. Yeah, the boy. Champagne Papi. The man who gave us God's Plan, Hotline Bling, and a decade of chart-topping, hit Smite, be saying goodbye for good. I'm talking about the kind of goodbye that got fans shook, industry insiders whispering, and even his own OO team moving. Strange. Now listen, this ain't no regular rumor. This right here got receipts, got emotion, and got real tension. Word on the street is that Drake's been facing something way deeper than the music industry beefs we've seen before. We're talking betrayal, leaked audio, and even whispers of a secret fallout that's been bubbling under the surface for months. But what if I told you this all started with a private phone call that never should have been recorded? What if I told you that call exposed a side of Drake fans never thought they'd hear? Some say he's walking away because of heartbreak. Some say it's about money. Others, they think it's about family. And y'all, it gets wild. Sources close to OO say Drake's been cutting off longtime friends, unfollowing people left and right, and making late-night calls that end with slammed phones and heated words. One insider even said, and I quote, Drake told them he's done like done. He said the industry turned its back on him. So now he's turning his back on the industry. So what really happened? Why is Drake saying goodbye? And is this the real end of Champagne Papi as we know him? Stick around because what you're about to hear next might just change the way you look at Drake forever. The street's been talking heavy. What? And this time it ain't about no album drop or hidden feature. It's about something way deeper. Something that even Drake's closest circle didn't see coming. Fans started noticing the change months ago. The once confident, camera-ready superstar slowly started pulling away. No more flashy stories from the mansion. No more clips of him in the studio vibing with the crew. It was quiet to quiet. Then one night out of nowhere, a mysterious clip hit Twitter. It wasn't long, maybe 30 seconds tops, but it was enough to set the whole internet on fire. The voice in the clip, unmistakable. That calm, emotional tone that only Drake got. But this time, it wasn't about love or success. It was frustration. You could hear it in his voice when he said, I gave them everything. And they still act like it's never enough. The clip ends with the sound of a door slamming and someone whispering, he's done. Fans went wild. Hash started trending instantly. Hash goodbye Drake, hash Israel, hash Uvo over. Within hours, the clip had over 4 million views. Everyone wanted answers. The blogs were spinning different stories. Some claimed it was just a leaked snippet from a new song. Others swore it was a private conversation between Drake and his manager, Oliver. But the real tea came when an anonymous source hit a popular hip-hop forum claiming they had inside info straight from Toronto. According to this source, Drake's recent silence wasn't accidental. It was intentional. Apparently, there had been serious tension inside the OO camp for months. Disagreements about money, loyalty, and direction. The source claimed Drake felt like everyone around him was eating off his plate, but nobody was feeding him back. He was tired, drained, feeling like the world he built was turning its back on him. The first real sign of something being off came during a studio session in Law. A witness who was there that night said, things got heated fast. Drake walked in late, shades on, didn't speak to nobody. He just sat down and listened while the engineer played a beat. Then he goes, turn it off. I don't feel it anymore. The room got tense. His longtime producer, 40, tried to calm things down, saying, come on, bro. We just need one more hit for the album. But Drake shook his head, saying, it's not about hits. It's about heart. I'm not hearing mine anymore. The witness said the energy shifted completely after that. No jokes, no laughter, no good vibes. It was like something in him had changed. Later that night, someone overheard Drake talking on the phone outside the studio. His tone was cold. Nah, I'm serious, bro. I'm not doing this forever. I've been carrying this too long. Nobody knew who he was talking to. But when he came back inside, he didn't record a single verse. He just left. And that's when the dominoes started to fall. Fans noticed he unfollowed several big names, producers, collaborators, even old friends like Chubbs. Social media detectives pieced it all together, realizing Drake had quietly removed over 30 people from his following list in just a week. Then came the rumor that made things explode. Somebody leaked that Drake had a massive argument with his father, Dennis Graham. Apparently, Dennis had gone live on Instagram one night, casually mentioning that Drake's been dealing with some heavy stuff. Real-life things, not music. When fans clipped that and posted it, Drake reportedly called his father immediately furious. An insider close to the family said, "They got into it bad." Drake told him, "You, of all people, should know not to talk about me online." It wasn't just anger. It was disappointment. After that call, Drake's dad deleted the live replay, but the damage was already done. The story spread everywhere. Fans started speculating that the tension between them had been building for years. Some even claimed that Dennis had been pushing Drake to retire before things got messy, saying he'd already done enough and should focus on his son, Adonis. But here's where things take a darker turn. Word got out that someone from Drake's own circle had been recording his private convos, calls, voice notes, everything, and selling them to gossip outlets. The betrayal hit hard. According to the same source, Drake found out during a meeting at his Toronto mansion. He confronted the group demanding to know who was leaking. No one confessed, but the energy in that room was ice cold. An insider described that night like a scene out of a movie. Drake pacing back and forth, his voice calm but deadly serious. "I gave y'all a family. I made sure everyone ate, and this is how you repay me. Recording me like I'm a stranger." Nobody spoke. After a long pause, he said, "I'm done with this. Maybe y'all can have OO without me." And just like that, he walked out. Reports say he left Toronto the next morning without telling anyone where he was going. Fans spotted his private jet landing in Jamaica a few days later. No entourage, no cameras, just Drake and 2 security guards. People in Kingston said he rented a small villa near the ocean and barely came out. Locals said they'd see him walking the beach alone at night, hood up, headphones on. Deep in thought. Back in the States, the conversation only got louder. Fans started connecting dots: Drake missing from major events, pulling out of award shows, and even cancelling a rumored collaboration with A-list artists. Everyone was asking the same thing. Was Drake really walking away from music? Really walking away from music? Around this time, a blurry video leaked online showing Drake on a phone call, pacing outside what looked like a villa. In the clip, he can be heard saying, "It's not the fame, it's the fakeness. I can't fake it no more." The person recording whispered, "Bro, he really sounds done." The reaction was explosive. Twitter was in chaos. Reddit threads hit thousands of comments, and fans started posting emotional tributes, clips of old interviews, and moments from Drake's come-up days. One viral post read, "We watched this man grow from Degrassi to the biggest artist in the world, and now he's walking away like it means nothing. Something must have broken him for real." And that's when the real shocker dropped. A message surfaced online. Allegedly from Drake's private burner account, replying to a fan's post, it simply said, "Sometimes goodbye is growth." No one knew if it was real, but it spread like wildfire. People were crying, arguing, posting think pieces about fame, loyalty, and what it means to outgrow your own empire. As the internet spiraled, one person close to the situation finally broke silence over Noel, one of Drake's earliest collaborators. In a short Instagram story, he posted a black screen with just 5 words. "It's been a long ride." That's it. No explanation, no follow-up, but that one sentence felt like a funeral for an era. And right when everyone thought they'd seen it all, another twist dropped that changed everything. Because that night a mysterious message appeared on O's official page, and it wasn't posted by the team everyone knew. It read, "The owl flies alone now." The comments exploded instantly. Is this Drake saying goodbye? Is O over? What does that mean? Nobody knew. But one thing was clear. Whatever was happening, it wasn't just career drama anymore. This was personal. And as we soon found out, the story was about to get a whole lot deeper. The owl flies alone now. Those 5 words had everyone glued to their screens, dissecting every possible meaning. Was it Drake? Was it someone from the inside trying to make a point? Or was it just a hacker feeding the chaos? Nobody knew. But the timing was too perfect, too emotional, too symbolic to ignore. Within hours, O's comment section turned into a war zone. Fans pleading for answers, conspiracies flying left and right, and celebrities subtly reacting with cryptic emojis and unfollows. One of the first people to speak publicly was The Weeknd. During a live stream with fans, someone dropped a question in the chat. "Yo, what's going on with Drake? Is OO done?" The Weeknd paused for a second, gave that half smirk and said, "Some birds got to fly their own way." Then he looked straight at the camera and ended the stream. No explanation, just silence. The internet went crazy. People were convinced he just confirmed that Drake was officially cutting ties, not just with the label, but with everyone who once stood beside him. Back in Jamaica, rumors started surfacing that Drake had been meeting with an older Jamaican spiritual advisor known locally as Mama Z. Some locals claimed she'd been helping him find peace after what he called a season of betrayal. Anonymous worker at the villa told a local radio station, he kept saying he needed clarity. He didn't want phones around, didn't want cameras, just water, quiet, and music in his head. But while Drake was trying to heal, things back home were spiraling. One of O's artists, Roy Woods, did a surprise live and said something that sent chills down everyone's spine. Sometimes when a king leaves his throne, it's not because he lost it tits, because he realized it was never his to begin with. The comment section blew up instantly. Fans demanded answers, tagging Drake, asking if that was a shot or a sign of respect. But Roy deleted the live replay just an hour later. Still, it was too late. The quote was everywhere. Meanwhile, a well-known gossip site claimed they got hold of leaked text messages allegedly between Drake and his ex Sophie Bro, the mother of his son Adonis. In the text, Drake reportedly said, "I need to make sure he grows up seeing peace, not pressure." Sophie replied, "Do what you need to do, but don't disappear. He needs his father." Fans debated whether it was real or fake, but the message hit hard. Was this goodbye about family? Was Drake stepping away to be a better dad? To make matters worse, an unreleased song snippet mysteriously appeared online a few days later. In it, Drake raps used to pray for clarity. "Now I'm praying for quiet. All this love feeling fake. Can't deny it." The bars were raw, emotional, and sounded like a farewell letter. Fans dubbed it the Goodbye Freestyle. Within 24 hours, the clip had millions of plays on TikTok. Some even started remixing it with clips of Drake performing, making it feel like a goodbye montage. Industry insiders began chiming in, too. One of Drake's old collaborators, DJ Khaled, posted a video saying, "We got to respect a man when he chooses peace." Drake a legend forever. No matter what he decides, the OVO headquarters were oddly silent. No posts, no press releases, nothing. One security guard who worked near the office said, "People been coming and going, boxes getting moved out. They're clearing things." The idea of Drake actually shutting down OO sounded insane. But the signs were there. Then a shocking new video surfaced. One that made everything feel heartbreakingly real. A fan spotted Drake walking through a small market in Jamaica, dressed down in shorts and a tee, completely alone. The fan called out, "Yo, Drizzy, when you coming back?" Drake turned, smiled faintly, and said, "Back where? I'm already home." The video spread like wildfire. Those 6 words felt final, like he'd made peace with leaving everything behind by this point. Even Drake's closest friends seemed unsure what was happening. Future, who'd been quiet through it all, suddenly posted a black and white story that read, "Some chapters close before the book ends." Nobody tagged, but everybody knew who he was talking about. Then came the emotional turning point. An unexpected FaceTime call between Drake and his mother, Aubrey Graham, leaked online. Nobody knows how it got out, but it hit every corner of the internet. In the clip, Sandy's voice was soft, comforting. "Aubrey, the world loves you, but you need to love yourself the same way." Drake sighed and said, "Mom, I just feel like I'm performing for people who stop listening," her reply. "Then stop performing and start living." The clip ended with Dre quietly whispering, "Maybe it's time." Fans broke down after that. People were posting long messages saying they finally understood what Drake had been hinting at through his music all along. Songs like Emotionless and Losses suddenly hit different. The narrative shifted from gossip to concern. Was Drake okay mentally? Emotionally? But right as everyone started showing empathy, the story twisted again. A former OO associate came forward with shocking claims. He said Drake's exit wasn't entirely voluntary, that there were serious business conflicts behind the scenes. Apparently, major disagreements had erupted between Drake and the record execs funding OO's distribution. They wanted another world tour, another album cycle, and Drake reportedly refused. The associate claimed Drake told them, "I'm not your machine." When they pushed back, he said, "Then I'll walk away from everything." Fans didn't want to believe it, but then receipts surfaced a document showing Drake's company quietly transferring some of its assets to another private entity registered under new name, Adonis House. Nobody knew what that meant, but rumors spread that Drake was starting something completely separate, a foundation or new label dedicated to his son. Meanwhile, paparazzi spotted him again, this time boarding a flight to Paris with Adonis and Sophie. No entourage, no media team, just family. Reports say he spent the next week in France attending low-key art events and visiting museums. Photos showed him smiling softly, looking at peace for the first time in months. But peace didn't last long. An exclusive interview with a well-known Toronto journalist dropped featuring someone claiming to be a former OVO staff member. They alleged that the tension between Drake and his team exploded the night before he left for Jamaica. According to them, Drake confronted one person directly, a man who'd been with him since the beginning. In a moment of rage, Drake reportedly said, "You made me believe we were brothers, but you treated me like a brand." The staff member didn't respond. Drake simply walked away, grabbed his keys, and said goodbye. That single word, goodbye, would become the title of thousands of posts and fan edits afterward. And just when it felt like we'd heard every possible angle, a leaked email from an OO rep surfaced online, confirming that Drake had officially stepped down from all label-related decision-making. The internet froze. Fans realized it wasn't just rumors anymore. Drake, it's really letting go. But here's the craziest part. He wasn't done speaking yet. A cryptic post appeared on Drake's official Instagram story late one night. "You can't say goodbye if you were never truly here." Those words sat heavy across every timeline. Fans read it, reread it, quoted it, and tried to decode it like scripture. What did Drake mean? Was it a message to his fans, to his haters, or to the industry that made him a global icon? Nobody knew, but one thing was clear. WNOG wasn't talking in riddles anymore. This was personal, almost spiritual. Within hours, blogs exploded with theories. Some claimed he was gearing up to drop a final album, something so raw it would serve as his farewell letter. Others believed it was a statement of detachment that Drake had finally realized he never belonged to the music business, only to his own story. Twitter threads ran wild with clips of his past interviews where he hinted at burnout, at feeling misunderstood, at struggling to trust people. But then came a shocking twist that nobody saw coming. A leaked video surfaced reportedly from a private dinner in Paris. The grainy clip showed Drake sitting with a well-known French filmmaker, Jean-Luc Messier. The two appeared deep in conversation, and at one point, you could hear Drake say, "Maybe music was just the first act." Fans were stunned. Was he talking about leaving music for film, directing, storytelling? The theories multiplied. Back in Toronto, OO insiders started whispering about something big being prepared, a private farewell event. Not for the public, but for family and friends. The event was rumored to be held at an undisclosed mansion in Caledon Hills. Invitations were sent out quietly and everyone was told to dress in all black. The invite simply read, "The chapter closes at midnight." The night of the event, security was tight. Phones were reportedly confiscated at the entrance. No cameras allowed, but still details managed to leak. Attendees described the atmosphere as emotional, intimate, and surreal. The room was lit with dim candles. Its chord orchestra played slowed-down versions of Drake's biggest hits, Marvin's Room, Take Care, Passion Fruit on a projector. Clips of his career played silently. Performances, award speeches, childhood photos, even behind-the-scenes moments fans had never seen before. Then around 11:45 p.m. Drake walked in dressed simply in black with no jewelry, no flashy look, just a man stripped down to his truth. People said the entire room went quiet. He took a deep breath, stood in front of everyone, and said, "You ever feel like you built something so big that it stopped feeling like yours?" Nobody spoke. He continued, "I love music. I love what it gave me. But somewhere along the way, I lost myself in it." Someone shouted, "We love you, Drake." He smiled softly and replied, "That's the thing I'm learning to love myself, too." The moment reportedly turned emotional. Some of his closest friends teared up. One witness claimed that 40 hugged him and whispered, "Whatever you choose, I'm with you." Others said, you could see Drake fighting back tears when he mentioned his son. "When I look at Adonis," he said, "I see the version of me that still believes. I want to be there to protect that. I don't." Just before midnight, he raised a glass and said, "Two endings, two beginnings, and two peace." The orchestra played, "Hold on, we're going home." And Drake quietly walked out the back door into the night. That was it. No dramatic exit, no grand speech, just a man letting go. The next morning, fans woke up to a message on Drake's official Instagram. It was a short clip of the ocean waves in Jamaica with the caption, "Thank you for letting me share my story." No explanations. That post broke the internet. Within 30 minutes, it had millions of likes and thousands of comments. Artists from all genres started reacting. Kendrick, Nicki, Rihanna, even Kanye dropped subtle messages showing respect. Rihanna commented, "Nothing but love always." While Kanye tweeted, "We all searching for peace. Salute." It was like the entire industry collectively bowed in silence. But the peace didn't last long. Just days later, new drama erupted. A major publication released an expose claiming Drake's departure wasn't all spiritual and emotional. It had business motives, too. According to their report, Drake had been secretly planning to launch a brand new company independent from all labels, merging art, fashion, and film under one banner, the name October Forever. The article even included a blurred image of what appeared to be the company's logo reimagined owl taking flight over a sunrise. Fans were split. Some felt betrayed, saying all his emotional goodbyes were just marketing for a rebrand. Others argued he deserved to reinvent himself however he wanted. The internet turned into a battlefield of opinions. One fan tweeted, "If this was all a setup for another era, then Drake might be the smartest artist alive." Another wrote, "Nah, he really said goodbye. You can feel it in his voice." Then came another layer of confusion. A mysterious Instagram account under the name The Boyborn started posting cryptic photos of studio microphone, a notebook filled with lyrics, and a caption that read, "The truth always returns." Fans went crazy connecting dots, convinced Drake was behind the account. Within days, it had 1 million followers, but no verification, no confirmation. The mystery grew deeper. While everyone argued online, a quiet storm was brewing behind the scenes. Drake's longtime associate, Oliver Elkatib, was spotted meeting with music executives in Los Angeles. Insiders claimed he was negotiating something on Drake's behalf, documentary deal covering the final months before the goodbye. Allegedly, the footage would include raw moments, voice notes, and behind-the-scenes clips from Drake's farewell phase. One insider told a reporter, "If people think they know what happened, they don't. This documentary will show the truth." But that wasn't the only revelation. An audio recording leaked online of Drake speaking during what seemed like a therapy session. His voice sounded tired but calm. "I spent so long being what people needed me to be that I forgot who I actually was. When I stopped pretending, that's when everyone panicked. But maybe that's when I finally started living." The recording touched millions. Fans said it was the most human they'd ever heard him. People started flooding social media with messages like, "Thank you, Drake, and you helped us grow, too." And then, as if life itself was writing the script, a photo appeared online. Drake walking hand in hand with Adonis through a quiet park in Paris. No paparazzi swarm, no big entourage, just a father and son. One fan captioned the repost, "He said goodbye to the world so he could say hello to himself." But not everyone believed this was the end. DJ Academics claimed on a podcast that he'd heard snippets of new Drake music being tested privately in London. According to him, Drake's not retiring, he's transforming. Think bigger than rap. He wouldn't say where he got the info, but the claim reignited hope among fans. Meanwhile, people close to Drake maintained he was still away, focusing on meditation, family, and exploring film production. Apparently, he'd even been in touch with Spike Lee about co-producing a project exploring the price of fame. The idea alone sent the internet into a frenzy. Then came the final twist of this chapter. One morning, O's official YouTube channel suddenly dropped a teaser video titled "The End Begins." It was just a 30-second clip of ocean waves, the same as his Instagram post, but this time a faint voice could be heard saying, "You never really say goodbye. You evolve." That single clip reignited everything. Fans who were mourning suddenly had hope again. Was this Drake's way of saying the goodbye? Wasn't the end, but the beginning of something new. Nobody knew for sure. But one thing was certain. Whatever Drake was planning next, it was going to shake the entire culture again. And just as everyone tried to process this emotional roller coaster, another unexpected voice stepped into the story. Another unexpected voice stepped into the story. And that voice belonged to none other than J. Cole. Out of nowhere, Cole went live on Instagram, sitting in a dimly lit room with a mic and a cup of coffee. His energy was calm, but his words hit like a freight train. "You can't measure peace in platinum plaques," he said. "When Drake said goodbye, I felt that sometimes you got to disappear to protect your soul." He never mentioned Drake by name again, but fans didn't need him to. The message was loud enough. The live went viral instantly. Everyone from fans to celebs to journalists started calling this moment the brotherhood farewell. It wasn't competition anymore. It was respect. It was love. It was legacy. The culture started to shift. Instead of demanding Drake's return, people began celebrating what he had already given. Old interviews resurfaced. People quoting his lyrics like scripture. "I guess that's just the motion. Know yourself." Nothing was the same. Timelines became digital shrines. But just as fans were finally accepting the goodbye, another shockwave hit. An email leaked from a major film studio, allegedly confirming Drake had signed on as an executive producer for a new Netflix documentary titled "The Boy Who Walked Away." The project was described as a raw and emotional look at the price of fame, mental exhaustion, and rebirth. Netflix didn't confirm or deny it, but industry insiders swore it was real. Rumors said the footage was already being edited and the trailer would drop before the end of the year or the end of the year. Meanwhile, in Paris, fans started noticing a shift in Drake's demeanor. He wasn't hiding anymore. Paparazzi caught him smiling again, laughing with Adonis, having dinner with Sophie. He looked lighter, like the weight of the world had finally lifted off his shoulders. But one image stood out. Drake standing on a balcony watching the sunset, wearing a simple gold chain with the word peace engraved on it. No flashy jewelry, no designer statement, just peace. Back home, the energy in the industry was different. OO affiliates started quietly deleting old promotional posts. The website redirected to a simple black page with a white owl and the message, "Rebirth coming soon." Fans couldn't tell if it was a farewell memorial or a teaser for something bigger. The suspense was unreal. Then came a surprise that nobody could have predicted. A letter surfaced online, reportedly handwritten by Drake himself, addressed to the ones who listened. It was short but powerful. "I've spent half my life performing my pain and calling it art. I don't regret a second of it. But I do regret how much of myself I gave away. I want my son to know his father as a man, not a myth. If you ever felt something in my music, that was me being real. Thank you for hearing me when I couldn't hear myself." Aubrey, the handwriting matched his old notes seen in documentaries. And though skeptics questioned it, most fans believed it. Screenshots flooded social media with captions like "This broke me and he's really done." But right when the internet was mourning again, another twist came crashing through the comm. A radio DJ in London claimed he'd received an exclusive file from a private source labeled Aubrey's note. When he played it live on air, the world froze. The voice was unmistakably Drake's, soft, emotional, almost trembling. He said, "They called it goodbye, but I call it evolution. I learned that sometimes when you stop chasing the world starts chasing you back. I'm not gone. I'm just becoming." The clip ended with a faint sound of piano keys, then silence. The broadcast trended for days. People cried, reacted, made montages. YouTube exploded with theories. Was he dropping one final album? Was it part of the Netflix doc? Or was he speaking metaphorically? And then, seemingly out of thin air, Drake's YouTube channel reactivated. No announcement. No teaser. Just one single video uploaded titled The Letter. In it, Drake appeared sitting by a window in Paris wearing a plain hoodie. The video was shot in black and white. He spoke calmly. "For a long time, I thought being everywhere meant I was living. But sometimes disappearing is the only way to be seen again. This isn't goodbye forever. This is just me taking my time." He looked directly into the camera and smiled softly before the video faded out. No outro, no plug, no logo, just pure stillness. The reaction was immediate. Within minutes, fans flooded the comments. "His healing. His at peace. This is the realest thing Drake ever did." Major artists reposted it, calling it legendary. Even Jay-Z shared the clip with the caption, "The Art of Silence." Industry experts called it a cultural reset. In an era of chaos, Drake had managed to create the loudest silence ever heard. But here's the real twist that had people shook again days after the video. Billboards started appearing in major cities. Toronto, New York, Paris, London. They were all black with one white line printed across them. Chapter 6. Rebirth. No logos, no branding, just that. People lost their minds. Was it a final album, a film, a movement? The theories multiplied by the hour. Insiders began whispering that Drake wasn't coming back as Drake, but under his real name, Mewbray. An entirely new artistic identity. No label ties, no brand deals, just art. One source claimed he'd recorded over 40 unreleased tracks during his time in Jamaica and France, exploring sounds the world had never heard from him before. As fans speculated, a single message dropped on O's dormant Instagram page. It read, "There's a difference between goodbye and becoming." The caption simply said, 11. 11. Fans realized it was a date, November 11th. Everyone lost their minds. People started counting down, clearing their schedules, preparing for what could be Drake's most emotional and mysterious release ever. On the night of November 11th, the internet was on fire. Every platform, every feed, every trend was one topic. Goodbye Drake. People were live streaming, reacting, holding watch parties, waiting to see what would happen. Midnight struck and a new video appeared on YouTube titled Rebirth. It opened with ocean waves, the same ones from his Jamaica post. Then a familiar voice spoke softly. "If you ever loved the boy, know that he loved you back." A beat dropped, slow, soulful, introspective. It wasn't a song. It wasn't a speech. It was both. Drake's voice rapped over the sound of rain and piano keys, blending poetry and rhythm. The lyrics were about pain, rebirth, and acceptance. The final line hit like a storm. "I'm still here, just not where you left me." The screen faded to black and the words appeared. Aubrey season begins. The internet exploded. Every major outlet from Complex to Rolling Stone called it the greatest artistic pivot of the decade. Fans cried, celebrated, debated. Some said it was genius. Others said it was confusing. But nobody could deny one thing: Drake, or rather Aubrey, had just rewritten the rules of fame. From betrayal to peace. From silence to rebirth, his story had turned into a cultural event. It wasn't just gossip anymore. It was transformation. And the world was watching. And as one fan perfectly tweeted that night, he didn't say goodbye to us, he said goodbye to who he was. The story that began with whispers of retirement ended with the birth of a new legend. And just like that, the phrase "Goodbye Drake" stopped sounding like an ending and started sounding like evolution. And just like that, the world realized this wasn't the end of Drake. It was the rebirth of Aubrey. From the leaks, the heartbreak, the betrayal to the peace he finally found in silence. The story felt like something out of a movie. Fans cried, laughed, argued, and healed right alongside him. What started as rumors of retirement turned into one of the biggest artistic transformations the culture has ever seen. People close to him say he's never looked happier. No stress, no noise, no industry politics. Just a man who finally found himself again. And if we're keeping it real, maybe that's what all this was about from the start. Not walking away, but walking home. But even now, there's still mystery in the air. Will Aubrey ever step back on stage? Will we ever get another tour? Another surprise drop? Another anthem that defines a generation? Or is this really the calm after the storm? Fans are divided. Some say it's the perfect ending. Others swear this is only the beginning of something bigger. And that's where you come in. Because this story, this saga isn't just about Drake. It's about every artist, every dreamer, every person who's ever had to say goodbye just to find themselves again. So tell me what you think. Is Drake's final curtain call or his greatest comeback in disguise? Do you believe he's truly done with the industry? Or is Aubrey's season about to change music forever? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about it. And yo, if you felt this story, if it gave you chills, made you think, made you miss the old Drake, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe for more real talk, and turn on those notifications because this isn't the end. It's just the beginning of a whole new chapter. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next.